All right, 2023 in review. Let's talk about the things that we found interesting in 2023. What do you got for me?
Ooh, so this one was a little heartbreaking, I think, just because I thought the guy was going to die. But for those of you who do not know, the Avenger, Hawkeye, that actually
Oh,
happened
true.
this year. The
Jeremy Renner.
first day, yeah. New Year's Day, it happened. And what I got from the information with that is he ended up trying to plow his driveway, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't know if he fell off or something, but ended up running him over. And this was the accident in itself. This is how many things that were broken. And I got a list right here. He suffered a blunt chest trauma, including 8 broken ribs, a broken right knee, broken right ankle, broken left tibia, broken left ankle, broken right clavicle, broken right shoulder, broken eye socket, and a collapsed lung.
Yeah.
And I think the most insane thing about this story is after he got admitted, 2 weeks after that, he was discharged from the hospital.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember how long he was in the hospital. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I do
I didn't
know
know that
that I
either.
saw something recently that said he is back in an acting like role or something again.
Oh
They're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I saw an article that said a year from the accident, Jeremy Renner is back on set. I was like,
yeah,
oh,
dude.
damn.
It's insane, like just the accident in itself and what happened. I remember whenever it first came, I was like, man, dude, like it sounds horrible. You know what I mean? Like this guy, it sounds like he
Well,
may not make it. So
I heard there was a high possibility that he wouldn't be able to walk, or like that one
yeah,
of
or
his
lose
legs
a
or something
leg
like
or
that,
something. Yeah,
that
and
he
it
could
looks
lose a
like
leg.
yeah, fully recovered and everything, which was
Yeah. The
insane.
only thing I will say about that though is Disney. Was it Disney? Yeah, Disney, who made a documentary about it. They over like what he went through was serious, but Disney was
Over exaggerated.
it was the. I remember seeing the trailer for it, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like it was so cheesy. It was like go through the story of the man who survived the accident, the Avenger who would not quit, and I'm just like, stop, like this. They said stuff like that in the trailer, and
Dude,
he's like,
I end up
and then they would cut to him being like, honestly, I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it. Listen to his story of survival, and it's just like him getting like. I'm sure he took the interview serious, and I like Jeremy Renner, but it was
oh
the way
yeah.
Disney tried to like monetize and capitalize on that. It came off so cheesy.
Yeah,
Like
bro. I deleted Disney after that. I'm like,
it
delete,
was
man.
pretty
That's
bad.
too much. They exaggerated that shit.
All right, so one of the things for 2023 that I found in review very interesting was the Ocean Gate Titanic, the submarine, the people who got caught, and I so like putting myself in their shoes, right? I try not to make light of the situation because I feel like that would have been terrifying. Like
Oh yeah.
you're already in a small contained space with a bunch of other people and you
For
can't
at
even stand
least
up, right?
8 hours. At least 8 hours.
And then you lose communication. In your mind, you might not think, oh yeah, this is a dumb idea, because you might think, oh, this company is experienced. They've probably done this before. You're paying good
Something
money,
happened like this.
right?
Oh yeah.
They would have accounted for these things. But after the incident happened and all the details came out about their company, about how it operated, then you were like, okay, if you got into that thing, you were just like a dumbass. Like that was an accident
We only have
waiting to
one button,
happen.
that's it. It should be like an elevator.
I couldn't help noticing how many pieces of this sub seemed improvised.
We can use these off-the-shelf components.
I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Oh yeah, dude. There's a couple people that didn't go on the cruise just because of that, because of like the how secure it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like I think they're using two different like titaniums that they say should not work. And then he had that classic line that was like, "Oh, I'm defying the odds," like this, and or he said something like that. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
this guy's an idiot, man.
Yeah,
Like I feel
yeah.
bad.
It-
And I know he had good intentions, but like you can't be risking people's
In
lives like that.
hindsight, it's easy to see how stupid that idea was because of all the details that you know.
Yeah.
But in the moment, like when that thing wasn't a big deal, if you're paying good money and this is a company and you know that they've already done successful, like I feel like maybe you don't think too much about the risk. Like you know there's a risk involved, but you don't think oh, this guy's just an idiot who built a jail-rigged submarine and is operating it with a PlayStation
Xbox
controller,
controller,
a
yeah.
PlayStation 2 controller. So, but obviously in hindsight, it was like, that's one of the dumbest things you could have done. And it got all of
Yeah.
them killed. Like, I
Here.
mean, in 2024, leave the Titanic alone. Like, that crap has been redone. Let it be. Let it rest. Quit trying to dig it up.
All right, this one is the Chinese spy balloon.
Yeah, that one was on my list as well
It
because it
wasn't.
was
It was
funny for
funny
like a
though.
while.
Well, I mean, it's funny just because how Joe Biden kind of went with it. He was like, "Oh, this isn't something too serious we need to take," and then you always have people that kind of don't really know what's going on, and they exaggerate it also. Like, "Oh my gosh, it's a breach," which I guess technically
They're gonna
it was
know
and
all of our
everything.
military bases.
Yeah,
They're gonna
exactly.
steal
Like
our
fucking social
secrets. I'm
security
like,
cards.
bro,
I'm like,
one of my
calm
coworkers
down.
is a Chinese citizen who's here for a few years. If they wanted to, they could take Google Maps and go take it back with them. Like, what? I'm not saying that they couldn't take information or whatever, right? But
Oh yeah.
or that it wasn't made for a nefarious purpose. I don't know. Like, I have
Yeah.
no idea.
Well, so I was doing a little bit more research on it before this, and I guess the first spotting was on January the 28th by the U.S. airspace, like over, I think it was like northern Alaska, if I'm not mistaken. And then it traveled, I think, like through Canada, and by like February the 4th, it was in South Carolina.
Yeah, that's where they
and
shot
that's
it
whenever,
down.
yeah, that's whenever they shot it down. And till this day, the Chinese government is still saying that it was a civilian's like
It was like a
was it like
weather or
airspace
something.
that weather balloon that kind of drifted off. So I don't think we have any more information on that, but that's basically what I got
Yeah,
from it and what I heard.
I don't think it
So
was like some giant military threat. That's my personal opinion. I think it was funny. I mean, I think they should have shot that crap down before it
oh,
went over the
instantly. Oh yeah.
U.S. Like, for sure. Like, you don't want to run the risk. But I think it's funny that we were tracking this thing for about a week from one coast to the other, and then they finally decided to shoot that
It
thing down.
almost escaped, man. Almost
Yeah.
escaped with our identities.
Yeah. All right. The other big event that, like, it was a bang. Like, it was Barbenheimer. It was the culmination of Barbie and Oppenheimer, the media, the frenzy. I went to Oppenheimer on the opening Thursday, and then I saw Barbie the following week because I was in Chicago on a business trip, and so I saw Oppenheimer there. And then when I finally got back to Utah, I went to go see Barbie. I enjoyed both movies. I thought both movies were great. Oppenheimer was one of my favorite movies of the year for sure.
Oh, damn.
Barbie was super entertaining. I know it had a lot of controversy with people like politicalizing it. I don't even know if that's a word, but trying to extract, I guess, the political messaging and the patriarchy, and it was very anti-men. I didn't get that message, to be honest. There were a few scenes where I was like, yeah, I could see why people wouldn't like that particular scene. But outside of that, I thought it was like
Yeah, you can't
funny.
really
Like the
cherry pick on
dudes in the
that.
movie, like they embraced their role as Ken. Like it was funny to see Ryan Gosling and them. Right, it was a movie that I don't think took itself too serious, but it had good messages, good singing. It was enjoyable. And then Oppenheimer, obviously, like it was a lot more of a kind of a historical biopic of J.D.
Yeah,
Robert
well,
Oppenheimer.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, I can't really comment on neither because I didn't see neither.
You still haven't seen either one?
I have not.
Holy
Barbie, I
crap.
heard was really good, and then I heard what is it,
Oppenheimer, yeah.
I heard that was really good also, and
That
I've
might
heard a
be
lot of
it might be
feedback.
Christopher Nolan's best movie. That was
Yeah,
such a good movie.
oh yeah, by far, and that's what I heard in that. And the crazy thing is, I have no idea what that movie's about at all.
Oh,
Like,
well, I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it, I guess, but you should watch that movie. I mean, before
I'm going to, man.
I mean,
I'm
it's
going
already
to.
out of theaters. It was really a movie worth watching in theaters because of the sound and the visual, like no CGI used
Christopher
in the
Nolan,
movie.
oh, yeah.
It
Yeah,
was
dude, that
it was
guy
really
is-
good. It's a 3-hour movie though. Like it is a long movie.
Bro,
But
I
it
don't know
was
if I
it was
can do
really
this.
good.
Is Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. They ended up having a fight February 26, 2023, and I guess technically you could say this was his first real pro boxer. And Tommy Fury was like 8-1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's
And-
undefeated.
Yeah, undefeated at that point. It was an 8-round fight, and I think out of the 8-round fight, Jake ended up having one judge score him in his way, and
it was a split decision.
Yeah, split decision, and one was like 76, 73 Fury, 76, 73 Fury. One judge ended up scoring 75, 74 for Jake. But overall, I thought it was a good fight. Well, did I think like it was professional boxing? I don't know, man. Like,
I mean, it was
he's
a
good.
sanctioned fight, and Tommy Fury is a professional boxer.
Yeah,
He's I mean, it's not amateur boxing anymore, but it's like in the world of boxing, you have so many fights that you really take to build you up, right, before you start getting thrown into like the big dogs. The thing with Tommy Fury though is he comes from like his brother is like the heavyweight champion of the world, so it's like there's already a big name. Same thing with Jake Paul. It's people are like fight the top guys, but it's like you fail to realize I'm like Jake just started doing this and he takes it serious. Like you can tell he takes his training and everything serious, and he is good. Is he elite? I would say no. Can he be elite? I'm like, yeah, maybe. Like he's young still. Like, so I remember watching that fight, and I thought he won.
Did you?
Yeah, I wasn't cheering for Jake Paul, but I thought he won that fight. And I was like, even if they got it to Tommy Fury, I was like, okay, I could see you maybe giving it to Tommy, but I thought Jake won, and Jake got the only knockdown in the fight.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like he jabbed him and dropped Tommy Fury, and I was like, oh, like that in itself was embarrassing. And then I guess on the subject of the celebrity boxing, then you had KSI and Tommy Fury also.
And I think KSI.
And I thought KSI won that fight even more decisive than Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. And Tommy Fury won that fight. And then they had Ngannou.
He definitely won that. That was
what's it called?
Insane, bro.
Tyson Fury, Ngannou.
Tyson Fury, yeah.
And I was like, the KSI one was the one that I thought was more of like a robbery, if you will. I thought Ngannou won that fight, or at worst, they should have been a draw. But to give it to Tyson, I was like, I don't think so. And same thing, Ngannou got the only knockdown in the fight and put the pressure. But I was like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, so that was I don't even want to talk about that. That was embarrassing, and I feel like the reason why is because I personally feel like that was like embarrassment to boxing. You know what I mean? But
yeah, 2023 in review. One of the big events. I'm not on either side of this. Right, very political event was the Hamas, the Gaza-Israel, Palestine-Israel conflict, which was big because it reminded me of when Russia brought their tanks into Ukraine. It was just a moment, at least in my lifetime, I don't recall. I guess I'm not accustomed to a lot of these nations warring all the time. The U.S. was involved in the Middle East a lot when I was younger. 2000,
9/11.
Yeah. 9/11 happened when I was sixth grade. So it did happen in my lifetime, but not when I was at an age that I can have a big understanding of what's going on. And so these two wars, I guess these two conflicts more recently, I guess it really makes me feel grateful that we're in the States, in a country that, at least mainland the U.S., will never be invaded. Like, you will not have a foreign enemy ever bring anything on land here because every other citizen here has a gun. And I mean, anyone who I think even would try to invade mainland United States, like, would be wiped off the map of here.
But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I could promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Oh, so yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was reading. Also, they say the reason why it's so difficult to even try to invade United States is we have two humongous oceans by us. You know what I mean? And the only way you'd be able to do it is if you kind of land in Canada, go through, or land in Mexico, and kind of come up or whatever. But in that way, like, you know what I mean?
The Israel-Palestine thing, I said I have no. I'm going to stay out of that as far as the comments go, or like personal opinions go. Not because I'm afraid, but it's just it's not my thing. It's sad. It's sad for when innocents die, regardless of which side you're on, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like it's kind of difficult to take sides on that aspect, and also like you were saying, like there was a lot of young children that died, parents, and Katie ended up looking like a lot about that, and she was like, "Man, this is so sad." And I was like, "Yeah, it is sad. Unfortunately, like that is war, and that's happened since." Yeah, I don't know, thousands of years.
Forever.
And years
it's
and
probably
years.
It's in our history. It'll continue to happen long after we're dead.
We can't do nothing about that.
Yeah. All right. In 2024, this is what I think we have to look forward to. My prediction in 2024 is we see a resurgence in crypto. I think Bitcoin will cross 50K again. When that happens, I anticipate things like Doge that were kind of popular, right? Ethereum, Litecoin, those other smaller ones. I think we're going to see that start to come back up. So I predict 2024, the return of cryptocurrency.
So my 2024 predictions, I don't want any haters out there, but the Arizona Cardinals are going to win the Super Bowl 2020.
I thought about sports, and I don't see it happening, man. That one's wishful thinking.
No, come on now.
I think the Diamondbacks losing in 2023 to the Rangers was about as close as we were going to get to a sports team again.
For a very long time.
I was like, oh, gosh. And they were a huge underdog. They were the underdogs the entire. So I was like,
dude.
So when they made it, I was like, they better capitalize on this because we may not get another team in the finals again for a while.
Come on, Suns.
And they won what? They won the second game and then lost the next 3 in a row.
They should have won the first one.
And they should have won the first one. They were
should
up.
have won the first one. I think they won the second one.
Yeah, and then they
we
lost 3 in a row.
Yeah. So I think if we won that first and second one, I feel like we would have won it.
Yeah. All right, my 2024 prediction is we're going to get the first movie completely written by an AI script, or we're going to get like a full AI actor in a movie, like CGI'd in a movie, or the entire script is going to be AI written, which there may already be some, but not that I'm aware of. So I think we're going to get a mainstream, big studio movie that is entirely written by like ChatGPT or something.
Nice. So my last one that I have, and I felt this in my nutsack, is that they're gonna be a dating app called Snatch Match.
Snatch Match, the dating app.
It's gonna be popular. I feel like there's gonna go or be a lot of things that go into that, but I personally feel like that's gonna be a dating app. That's
We can't
going to
give
rise in
details on Snatch
2024.
Match because I don't want
can't
anyone
give
stealing the
details,
idea.
yeah. But it's going to happen.
All right, my prediction 2024, the Boston Celtics will win the NBA title. My other prediction 2024 is I anticipate we're going to get, I think we're due for a giant natural disaster, man.
No,
It's one of those that I'm like, you know what? Let me look at my calendar. I'm like, yep, I think we're due. My prediction, I'm not trying to jinx anything or I don't wish this on anyone, but I anticipate a big earthquake because I feel like that's about as big of a natural disaster as you can get.
That or tsunami.
Yeah, and I think an earthquake in California, that's my...
Gonna drop
I mean,
Los
Utah's on the
Angeles.
fault line too, so it could happen here as well. But I think a giant earthquake in California is going to be what we're in store for in 2024.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
All right, so that's 2023 in review, 2024 predictions. What do you guys think about our predictions? Let us know in the comments. We're going to keep the channel going. We're going to try to grow it in 2024. It's been a lot of fun doing the podcast.
Make sure you follow us on TikTok, 2 Guys 1 Mug, and also YouTube, 2 Guys 1 Mug.
Yep. See you guys.
Bye.